Well, that gets to a bigger thing that I mean, you're quoted in the New York Times as asking several questions to this point about being told things by your parents. You said, "How did my parents believe in segregation? How did the people who lived in Virginia 100 years before believe in slavery? How did they come to defend slavery?" You told them, and also for us today, quote, "What is it that we're able to convince ourselves of that blinds us to justice?" Talk
Jonathan,
more.
you've just fixed on my whole career as a historian. This is what has animated me from the start. How do people tell themselves things that are so unthinkable to those who come later and see with clearer eyes? And my first book, actually, my dissertation, was about people who defended slavery. And I wanted to know, how had they convinced themselves to get up in the morning and live in a slave society and think it was just fine? And I'm sure I was projecting backwards my questions about segregation in my own childhood and my own upbringing. How did everyone around me just accept it as the way the world should be? And how do we today blind ourselves to what's around us? And can we, by studying history and being really critical students of history, understand better the kinds of self deceptions that might be operating once again in our own lives? And the book I wrote about death, which you mentioned, that's a question that seems a little outside of this, but how my question there is, how did Americans during the Civil War manage to come to grips with those horrors? And what are the fundamental capacities of human beings to fathom and power through something as horrible as the enormous death toll of the Civil War? So how is it that human brains take account of the world around them in ways that often enable them to do injustice in such powerful ways?